Did you see what happened here? Has it happened with you? Have you seen any joke or a meme with the same context in the past few days? Then you have come to the right place, because today we are going to explain to you how Arogya Setu app works. Namaste everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of Breaking It Down, where we are going to explain whether Arogya Setu app is a mass surveillance tool or whether it is the right app to bring down the corona numbers. Arogya Setu app was launched on 2nd April 2020, and this was just after a mass lockdown in India was imposed. Till now, I think more than 10 crore people have downloaded the Arogya Setu app. But with more people downloading this app, a lot of questions on privacy, its handling, and its effectiveness were raised. Before we go into the question of privacy or its effectiveness, we need to understand how this app works. This app basically demands 4 of your things. First is your identity. Second is your GPS location. Third is your health status via a quick self-assessment test. And fourth is it asks you to keep your Bluetooth on at all times. Now I'll explain one by one why all of this is important. For the app to function properly, first of all, your identity doesn't ask your citizenship, it doesn't ask your PAN, Aadhaar or passport, it just asks your email ID and your phone number. The second is your GPS location. This is very important because you might not remember every place you have visited in the past 10 or 14 days if you're a frequent traveler, and the technology doesn't make this mistake. So GPS actually records all your locations and where have you visited, from which route you have visited, and it sends it to the data center. The third one is your health status. Now with your health status, it is actually assessing whether you have come across any person who has a vulnerable health status, who has cough, who has fever, and if you have fever, then you record it here, and then the app wants the other person who comes into the contact with you who is not vulnerable to cough or fever. Now, how is this contact from one mobile to other mobile done? This comes to the fourth component, which is the Bluetooth device. The Bluetooth helps a phone to send signal from one device to another device and to just intimate the other person that this person has cough, this person has fever, this person is undergoing some kind of treatment. He might not be a COVID patient, but he might be a potential COVID patient, so on and so forth. So this contact tracing is very important, and this 4 components really help the app in this contact tracing. Now we will come to the privacy part. This app was made mandatory to 3 people. First were the government employees, second were the people who were in private sector but essential workers, and third, the travelers who traveled by train, plane or intercity via car. And it was made mandatory for all of them. So the first question which is raised is whether the government has the power to make the app mandatory to all the people. In a recent submission to Karnataka High Court, the government submitted that no, it was not important or compulsory for everyone to download this app, but it did make the app mandatory to be downloaded before anyone boarded the plane or train in the month of May and April. Coming to the second part, this app does not have any legislative backing. So because there is no legislative backing, on all of this app is actually done by the powers of Disaster Management Act, for which it was not made. The second point is that the government has not initiated any special legislation or ordinance to initiate or to make this app compulsory for everyone, I stated before. Now the problem here is because there is no special legislation or even legislation, there are no checks and balances, and this lack of checks and balances is clearly reflected in the terms and conditions of the app, where it is said that if your data is stolen or if there is any problem in your privacy, then the government would not be liable. The government has said that it was very much necessary to initiate contact tracing in India. But it also cited that for a country like India with a population more than 1 billion, it was manually impossible to trace every contact of a corona patient, so it had to use technology with the requisite and already available legal means. So now this whole problem boils down to two contradictory components. One is mass privacy versus mass health. So we come to the question of what are the reasonable restrictions when the state can actually overstep its power and impose these reasonable restrictions on the citizens. So more or less there are three principles around which this reasonability revolves. The first test is there should be a law which authorizes the state to make these encroachments on privacy. Currently there is no law which authorizes the Arogya Setu app to take our data or use our data, but the state's justification is that it has broadened the scope of the Disaster Management Act to accommodate Arogya Setu app as it was a emergency pandemic or emergency thing to do. The second is the test of proportionality, that the means should be proportional to the end. The means shouldn't be excess to what is about to be achieved. Now if you see the means, then what we have to achieve is also a blurry step. We really don't know what the government's aim is. Is the government's aim to decrease the number of corona patients to zero? Is the government aim to contain the peak and push the peak until the vaccine is introduced? So we really don't know, and the state has really not been very clear on what the end of this move is. So Arogya Setu's app end is unclear, so we really can't measure the means to the end in this case. The third aim is pursuit of legitimate state aims. Now where are the legitimate state aims written? They are written in fundamental duties, there are fundamental rights, then the directive principles of state policies. And to secure the health of the citizen, that no citizen is deprived from his right to life because of the mismanagement of the government and the lack of contact tracing, the government is saying that we are curbing your right to privacy to ensure that the larger goal of right to life is actually pursued. In an attempt to actually open up the app, the government recently has open sourced the code of the app where everyone can access the code and point out any loopholes in the coding and the functioning of the app. But there are many questions unanswered. Does the app follow the instructions given about the data keeping and data destruction, or the matter of consent from the users in the draft data protection bill of 2019? Does the app follow the instructions and the judgment in Puthuswamy case, where it has actually defined what kind of privacy the constitution assures the citizen of India? So there are many questions unanswered. To conclude, we have to see whether any other country has used this kind of virtual contact tracing method, and actually one country has, and that is South Korea. South Korea till now hasn't imposed any kind of mass lockdown in their country like many big countries like India have done. They have successfully controlled and contained coronavirus with technology and similar app called 100M. So it's not really bad to give India and Indian administration a chance. Thank you for watching our video. If you have liked the video, please hit the like button. If you have any suggestions, if you have any counter argument to what we have said, write it down in the comment box. We will be coming with different videos on different subjects. Stay tuned, take care, and Jai Hind.